If you've ever thought, I'd love to be making money with investing, but it's just too risky for me, this is going to help. In this video, I'm going to be showing you why investing isn't as risky as you might think. I'm going to uncover the real risks to investing, and I'm going to show you how to minimise the biggest risk of all so you can keep your money safe. For those of you who don't know, my name is Ben Knight. I've been investing in the stock market for over a decade, and in the past few years, I've helped thousands of people get started with investing by keeping things simple and cutting out all the nonsense. My goal is to help you build freedom in your life so you can spend more time doing the things you enjoy. I believe financial education should be taught in schools, so this is my way of changing how we learn about money. If the idea of investing seems too risky for you and it feels really uncomfortable and you just don't want to lose money, and that's the thing that's been holding you back from starting, then the good news is you're not alone. It's a really common thing. But the first question I'd ask you is, what is risky to you? What does risk mean? Or what does too risky mean? Because if the only risk here is that you lose all the money that you put in to an investment, well, a really simple way to solve that is to only put in money that wouldn't be a really financially dramatic loss to you. I know that's really common advice, to only invest what you can afford to lose. But I actually really dislike phrases like that because they're so common and so well known, and even as I said it, you'd be like, yeah, I know that. But because of that, it means we don't actually take the time to think about what they really mean. But in this real example, if the money that you could lose, like the absolute most you could lose, is an amount of money that it just wouldn't be that dramatic on your lifestyle. It means you can still keep a roof over your head, food on the table, support your family, do everything you already do. If losing all that money meant that none of those other things were affected, then it's not really that bad. And remember, that's like the absolute worst case in this. So for example, if you're investing in stocks like I do, and I only invest in the biggest and most successful companies in the world, well, for you to lose all of your money investing like I do, it would quite literally mean every single one of the biggest companies in the world that you're invested in would all have to go bankrupt at the same time. Like, that is genuinely how you'd lose all of your invested money if you're investing in these companies like I do. So, I don't know about you, but one, it's probably very unlikely that Apple, Google and everyone just disappears overnight. But equally, you might argue, if something happened in the world that did make them all disappear, we've probably got a little bit more to worry about than what's happening with our investing account. But the idea, and the reason I'm telling you that, is people think you can quite easily lose everything when you're investing. But if you're sensible with it and you're following a strategy that doesn't expose you to all the crazy risk, like just chucking it all on red in a casino, then it's actually really hard to lose all your money. Almost, I don't want to say impossible, but very, 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 very unlikely. Like, it's very, very, very unlikely Google, Microsoft, Apple, everyone's going to disappear overnight. You get the point. But even if that did happen, the absolute worst happened and you lost all of that investment money, if it wouldn't actually have such a big impact on your life, which it shouldn't, because let's be real, if you can comfortably put a chunk of money into investments and have the vision of keeping it there for a year or a few years, then the reality is that's probably not that essential to you, right? Meaning it's not the money you were going to use to pay for the weekly food shop or, to pay the electricity bill, right? If it's an amount of money you were thinking of tying up in investments for the years to come, even though you don't want to lose it, of course, it's still not essential to your living. But the fear of losing money is a very real thing because there are people who have lost loads of money with investing. I'm not denying that at all. I speak to hundreds of people every few months who tell me that they have also lost money doing XYZ, some crazy scheme, or even just got really unlucky with things. But I tell you what, even those people, 99% of the time, the people who have lost a chunk of money, an amount that I wouldn't want to lose, we're not talking about a small amount of money here, people that have lost thousands, even those people still say, yeah, I wish I hadn't lost it, but to be honest, it was a good lesson, I got a lot of experience from it, so, is what it is. That's from the people who have lost the money. They're not thinking about or worried about losing money. They've actually lost it. And even those people don't think it's actually that bad. So it's probably fair to say the fear of losing money is actually worse than the reality of it. And let's put this into perspective. Losing the money is the potential downside of investing. Okay? I'm not denying it, there is a potential downside that you could lose all of your money or even some of the money. So there's that. But as we've just discussed, that's probably quite a limited downside. Yeah, you can only lose what you put in this sort of investing, right? So that's limited. Whereas the potential upside to that is that you, and things go really well, the potential of you starting investing means that you could make more money, have a better life, have more time to spend doing the things you really enjoy, provide a better life for your family and the people you care about, maybe give back to your community, you can do things you truly enjoy, not stuck in work all the time, maybe you can help others do things that they want to do with their life, maybe you're going to set a great example for the next generation because they can see you creating a life you love and that you're helping everyone around you, so they start doing that. It has a trickle-down effect. That's like the upside, potential upside, and that's just a few things. Compared to that very limited downside. Right, so already the scales are quite off on that one. So if you think about it like that, that if the worst that happens of me getting started with investing is I lose that chunk of money, but the best case is that I can change the life of myself and others around me, that's a pretty good bet, I would say. And let's not talk extremes. Even if you're a middle-of-the-road investor, let's say everything went super averagely. You did some good things, you did some bad things over the next 10, 20, 30 years and, you did okay. Well, that average, really mediocre result means that you've got more money than you had before and you can spend your life doing things you actually enjoy. You can spend more time doing the things you enjoy. You might not be able to be buying a Lamborghini for every day of the week and flying private jets all over the world, but you probably don't want that anyway. Let's be honest, most of us don't. Most of us want less stress and more freedom and choice. Now, if you can stick with investing, you will achieve those things. And we're talking middle of the road there, nothing crazy. So, in terms of actual risk of starting investing, losing money should not be high on your list. Now, having spoken to thousands of people over the last 10 years when I've been investing, I know that there are actually some hidden risks there that are actually the reason that most people don't start investing. And you might be able to relate to this. Because everybody says, I don't want to lose money. But really, the biggest thing they're scared about is what other people are going to think. Most of the rooted fears that I hear, whatever it may be, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, it's not actually about the thing itself, it's just what other people will think about you for doing it. And this could be people around you, it could be your friends, your family, your partner, your kids. It's probably people on Facebook that you don't even know anymore, haven't spoken to in 20 years. These people's opinions are actually the fear that is holding most people back with starting with investing. Because it goes both ways. Either you're worried that if it goes really well, they're going to be like, oh, look at Mr. Big Man, or oh, Mrs. Big Money, look at these guys now, a big investor type, look at you. There's that, the positive side, or on the negative as well, it's like, told you so, knew you couldn't do it. Like, they're really the two outcomes there. And that's simply what holds people back so much with just getting started with investing. And by letting those things hold you back, you miss out on all of that potential upside we talked about. And I would really frame it that way, because it sounds so silly describing it now that you're worried about somebody who you haven't spoken to since secondary school, thinking about what they think about you on social media. If something didn't go well for some unknown reason, not that they'd know, that fear of what they would think is stopping you potentially achieving all the things you actually want out of life. Like, I don't know about you, but I think life should be way more about finding the things we want to spend time on and then getting the chance to do them. Because, not to be all morbid, but we're only here for a certain amount of time. Staying stuck and wasting time worrying about other people and what they might think, even if they're people close to us, that people we really care about, it just doesn't serve us at all. So that's something to think about. Now, a little hack for you there as well. If you are really worried and you can recognise that for you it is more about what other people think about you, the good news is you actually don't need to tell anyone, right? For you to set up an investing account and load some money into it and start practicing in your spare time, literally nobody needs to know that, even your partner or your family, whatever. So that's a good thing. And then if it goes wrong, who cares? Nobody knows anyway. Or if it goes well, you're just going to get people asking you how you created such a great life for yourself. That doesn't seem too bad to me and shouldn't be the thing that holds you back. So if it is the opinions of others that is actually the real risk for you, and losing the money would feel a bit shameful, or you're just worried about what they're going to think and what they're going to say, please don't let that be you that gets held back forever for it, because that's something you'll regret. Diving into things, having a go, getting a result, or even not getting a result, and if it goes badly, you're going to have learned a lesson and you can chalk it off to experience. You won't regret that as much as you'll regret not trying in the first place. So, as I said, please don't let that be you. And this ties really nicely onto my final point of this video, because remember all those people I gave the analogy about earlier who have actually lost a lot of money? None of them regret it, because they all chalk it off to experience. And they say, oh, I'm glad I gave it a go, I've learned from it. But the real reason that they don't regret it at all, and they didn't see it as a risk, is because they realise now, having been in the world of investing, they realise that the riskiest thing you could possibly do is to do nothing at all. Again, I don't love these common phrases that the riskiest thing to do is to do nothing. So let's break it down into real terms. Firstly, nobody in history ever built a life of total freedom, of wealth, made a huge impact on the world by following traditional advice, particularly when it comes to money. Yeah, all the happiest and freest people in the world who are making such a big impact, they did things different to the norm. I'm sure you know that already. But with that in mind, that means that you can't follow traditional advice if you don't want a traditional life. If you want more, you've got to do more. And getting into investing is that thing that can just unlock so much for you. And if all the people who have the life that you would love, or are able to do the things that you would love to do, if all of them have had to do something different, there's a pretty good chance you're going to have to do the same, right? And equally, on the opposite side, if nobody has achieved the things you want at all by just doing the traditional stuff, like that's a 0% chance of success. Zero. Not such good odds. So you need to recognise that, okay, well, I want something different to these people who haven't done anything. The people I want to be like have done something. Maybe I should follow suit, right? Success leaves clues and all that. But the second point on this, and this is in a very real way, if you only save all of your money, and the only possible way it grows is the pathetic interest rate your bank gives you for saving it, then by definition, you are losing money, because the percentage they give you is significantly less than inflation. So your money is going down more than it's going up. So in real terms, that is a guaranteed loss. By keeping all of your money in a savings account, you're guaranteed to lose money. Now, I don't know about you, but to me that sounds like the riskiest thing in the world. So to avoid the risk of losing money, guaranteed losing money, just do something. Start with a type of investing that is lower risk, whether that's investing in like the biggest and most successful companies in the world like I like to do, or even something else. Just start with one. And then watch how much you enjoy it when you start seeing your money working for you rather than you working for it. Because that's where freedom starts. And trust me, it's definitely a snowball effect. Because once you start seeing the freedom build and build and build, and it just impacts all areas of your life. So after this video, I do not want the risks to hold you back any longer, because we've already identified the downside is actually a lot smaller than it feels like, and the upside is unbelievable, because it could quite literally change your life. Now, if you want to find out a little bit more about how I specifically invest, I'll put some next steps in the description below. But for you, do something, because as I told you, the riskiest thing to do is to do nothing at all. I hope this helped and to put risk into perspective for you. I'll see you on the next video.